Let's hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire. Let's be aggressive with all the promises that he has made. Let's all do that as a nation. Let's turn that energy. Some of you are upset. Some of you might be depressed. Some of you are angry. Let's take all that energy and let's hold Donald Trump to account. That's what I ask of all of you. I promise you, I will bring it, and I will do that on this show every single day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The adjudicated rapist and 34-count felon will be held to account, at least on this show. I promise you that. With that being said, I do have some criticisms for Democrats. And let me start by saying this. I've heard on multiple networks that those inside the Harris campaign are putting the blame and pointing fingers on Joe Biden. That's ridiculous. Should there have been a primary? Probably. Monday morning quarterbacking this situation, there probably should have been a primary. Looking back on the situation, if Joe Biden was going to step down, probably should have been done sooner. Very, very difficult when you give Kamala Harris only several months to really introduce herself to the American people running for president, where Donald Trump had years to do so. It put her in a very, very difficult situation. Very difficult. So I believe, looking back, there probably should have been a primary. Things should have happened sooner. They happened way too late. That is my first criticism. My second criticism, and all due respect to Tim Walz. I like Tim Walz. I think he's a good man. I think he's a good governor. Probably would have been a good vice president. I thought it was the wrong choice. I said it the day that they announced it, that Josh Shapiro should have been the pick. Now, would that have changed the outcome of the election? Maybe not. I don't know. But I thought Tim Walz was probably not the right choice. So that's my second criticism. Thirdly, we saw this in 2016. And we saw it again today, where a female is trying to become the leader of the free world. I don't think this election had a lot to do with race. Why do I say that? Well, Barack Obama was elected. Barack Obama's a man. I'm not sure we're ready in this country. And when I say we're, I'm not talking about myself. I'm not talking about some of you that voted for Kamala Harris. I'm not sure we are ready as a country to vote in a female to become the next president of the United States. Now, that's sad, but I do believe the fact that she is a woman played a factor. I do believe that some people that went into that voter booth did not want to vote for a woman. Now, I would call those people idiots, right? I think it'd be great if we had a woman, the leader of the free world. I don't have any problem with it. I don't care what's between your legs. But I do think that played a factor. I absolutely do. I felt like Kamala Harris did everything she could do. I thought she overperformed. She did a great job in that debate. She did everything she could. They campaigned hard. Maybe you could criticize the campaign for being a little bit too careful with her with interviews for a short time there. And then several weeks ago, she did the rounds, did Fox News, did the Howard Stern show. Some could make the argument maybe it was a little too late. But I'm not going to sit here and criticize the campaign. I thought they did fine. I'm not going to sit here and criticize Kamala Harris. I thought she overperformed. And I'm not going to sit here and criticize Joe Biden. What I will say in general terms, as I mentioned, is there probably should have been a primary. They probably should have made this decision sooner. And I think they waited until the debate, which was a disaster. I'm talking about debate Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That was a disaster. Let's call it for what it was. Maybe they shouldn't have waited that long. Maybe there should have been a primary. Maybe that would have been a different outcome. I don't know. But this is how I feel. Here's what we do know. Joe Biden today showed class. He picked up the phone and he congratulated Donald Trump. Kamala Harris showed class. She picked up the phone, she conceded, and she congratulated Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is going to be speaking at the top of the hour. And I can tell you this. She's not going to play the victim. She's not. She's not going to say that they cheated. meaning the Republicans. She's not going to lie, and she's not going to incite violence. Doesn't that mean something? And I'm talking to the people out there that did not vote for Kamala Harris. Doesn't that mean something to you to have decency? And I am a little bit confused. I am. I'm confused on how so many people in this country, the popular vote is what surprises me more than anything. How that there are more than 50% of people in this country that have no problem with putting an adjudicated rapist and 34-count felon as the leader of the free world. That surprises me a lot. It confuses me, and I don't understand it. I am shocked to see that number. And I am also surprised that more women supported Joe Biden in 2020 than Kamala Harris in 2024. That stat makes absolutely no sense to me at all. And I am worried. I am worried at what Donald Trump has already done to this country and what I fear will be done in the next 4 years, going after his political rivals, inciting violence, attacking people he doesn't like verbally on a daily basis. I am worried about that. I'm worried about his relationship with Vladimir Putin. I'm worried about what he's going to give up. I'm worried about what his administration is going to look like. People don't want to talk about that. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. involving health and women. I am worried about that. We all should be worried about that. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the conspiracy theorist nut, in charge of health in a powerful position in Donald Trump's cabinet. I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about a lot of convicted felons that are going to be working in Donald Trump's administration, the Peter Navarros of the world, the Stephen Millers of the world, maybe even a Steve Bannon type, who at least will be an advisor, the Sebastian Gorkas of the world, people like Dinesh D'Souza, Charlie Kirk. These are not serious people. So I'm worried about the administration that he is going to put together. That is a concern of mine. If you thought the last administration was bad, but remember, half of his administration didn't support him. He had a bunch of five-star generals and some people that were respected by many. Who is he going to have as an administration now? So I'm very worried about that as well. I don't know what the next 4 years is going to look like, but I would imagine it'll probably look like the 4 years of Donald Trump when he was in office. I hope we don't have another pandemic. That would be terrible, and I couldn't ask for a worse leader of the free world during a global pandemic. But I think it's going to be exhausting, and I think there's going to be a lot of hate. There's going to be a lot of bigotry. And I guess the best word that I could use is I am extremely disappointed in this country. And so many people in this country that decided to vote for hate, they decided to vote for bigotry over decency, over humanity. I'm very disappointed in that. But it's not going to change what I do every day. It's not going to change what I do tonight. I'm going to spend time with my family, my friends. I'm going to enjoy life. And I suggest all of you do the same. Am I disappointed? Yes. It's not going to change this radio show one iota. In fact, I think it'll actually make it stronger. And many people can make the case it'll make the show more popular. I am not going to change one thing that I do on this show. Not one thing. I am going to hold people to account, particularly in this case, Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans, and I will not change. I won't change my opinions. I won't change my views. I'm not changing anything. So you don't have to worry about that. I can promise you that. But I am confused. I am confused.